The mood around Ibrox feels very different right now, and you can sense it in the way people are talking about this January window. There is a quiet confidence mixed with urgency because Rangers know exactly where they stand and what is at stake. The old firm win has done more than just add 3 points to the table. It has shifted belief inside the squad and among the support. Results like that change dressing rooms, they sharpen focus, and they force the club to think carefully about the next steps. That is why the first confirmed bit of movement in the market carries more weight than it might normally do. Rangers have effectively agreed their first piece of business of the window, and while it is not an incoming signing, it tells its own story about where the club is heading. Oscar Cortez is set to move on again, with his previous loan cut short and a new temporary spell lined up elsewhere. When Cortez first arrived, there was genuine excitement. He looked sharp, direct, and full of confidence, showing flashes of a winger who could unsettle defenders and give Rangers something different in wide areas. That initial promise is what led to the permanent deal being triggered with a significant fee committed in the hope that he would kick on and become a key figure. Instead, the story has been one of frustration. Fitness issues have disrupted any chance of rhythm, and opportunities to truly settle in a Rangers shirt have been limited. Even during his time away on loan, consistent minutes proved hard to come by, which only deepened the sense that this move had not worked out as planned. From a club perspective, there comes a point where tough decisions have to be made, and this feels like one of them. Allowing Cortez to move again with the possibility of a permanent exit later is about resetting both the player's career and Rangers' squad planning. Financially, it also reflects the reality of modern recruitment. Rangers invested a substantial amount when they made the deal permanent, and it is unlikely they will recoup anything close to that figure. That is disappointing, but it is also part of a wider pattern the club are trying to move away from. The focus now is on maximizing value where possible, reducing risk, and ensuring that squad places are used on players who can contribute immediately. Sending Cortez on loan with an option attached gives Rangers flexibility and keeps options open rather than letting the situation drift. While that deal edges closer to completion, attention inevitably turns to what happens next. Rangers have been linked with several names over recent weeks, but concrete developments have been scarce. What is clear, though, is that there is an understanding inside the club that reinforcements are needed. The league table shows progress, but it also shows how fine the margins are. Every dropped point matters, and every injury or dip in form can have an outsized impact on the title race. On the pitch, the transformation under the current management has been striking. Intensity has improved, the structure looks clearer, and players appear more confident in their roles. The victory over Celtic was not just about passion or emotion, it was about control, discipline, and taking key moments when they arrived. Performances like that send a message, not only to rivals, but also to those making decisions behind the scenes. When momentum is building, backing it becomes even more important. That is why midfield recruitment is being discussed, even if it does not look like an obvious priority at first glance. Certain players have stepped up impressively, showing energy, composure, and a willingness to take responsibility. However, a long season demands depth and variety. Injuries, suspensions, and fatigue are inevitable, and Rangers have been caught short in the past when options were limited. Adding another experienced midfielder on a temporary basis could be as much about safeguarding momentum as improving the starting 11. The potential interest in Emil Bohinen fits that logic. He is a player with experience across different leagues, comfortable on the ball, and capable of fitting into a system without needing months to adapt. A loan move would make sense for all parties, offering Rangers cover and competition while avoiding long-term commitment. Decisions like that are often made quickly once the right conditions align, especially with deadlines approaching and other clubs also exploring options. At the same time, movement out of the squad feels inevitable. Not everyone can play regularly, and some younger players may benefit more from time elsewhere than from sitting on the bench. Loans can be a positive tool when used correctly, allowing players to develop while keeping long-term plans intact. Balancing those exits with the right additions is one of the biggest challenges of any January window, particularly when a title race is tightening. For now, the immediate focus remains on the next match and maintaining standards on the pitch. Every performance adds pressure at the top of the table and reinforces the sense that Rangers are building something meaningful. The window is open, the first deal is in motion, and expectations are rising. What happens next will shape not just the coming weeks, but the direction of the season as a whole, with decisions still to be made and momentum waiting to be matched with action. As the calendar edges deeper into January, the sense around Rangers is that this is a defining stretch, not just in terms of results, but in how decisively the club acts. Momentum has been earned the hard way through performances that demanded discipline and belief, and there is a clear feeling that slipping back into hesitation would undo much of that work. The victory over Celtic did not happen in isolation. It followed a run of displays where the team looked sharper, more aggressive in key areas, and far more comfortable imposing themselves on games. That is the platform Rangers have been craving, and it places added significance on every decision made off the pitch. The league position reflects that upward curve. Rangers have closed the gap, tightened the pressure, and put themselves back into a conversation that seemed distant earlier in the campaign. More importantly, the football now matches the ambition. There is structure in possession, urgency without the ball, and a growing understanding between players who previously looked unsure of their roles. That kind of clarity does not appear overnight, and it is why the current mood carries both optimism and realism. This squad has improved, but it is not complete. Behind the scenes, the message remains consistent. Reinforcements are still needed, particularly if Rangers are serious about sustaining a title challenge over the long haul. January is unforgiving, with fixtures piling up and little room for recovery. Fatigue can creep in quietly, and one or two injuries can shift the balance of a season. The idea that the squad can simply ride this wave without support feels risky, especially given how tight the margins are. At the top of the table, midfield continues to be the area most closely watched, even if current performances suggest stability. Certain players have grown into leadership roles, setting the tempo and driving standards. Their energy has been vital, but asking the same individuals to carry that burden every week is a gamble. Depth is not about replacing those who are performing well. It is about protecting them and ensuring that levels do not drop when rotation becomes unavoidable. That is why a short-term addition, someone capable of stepping in without disrupting the balance, makes sense. At the same time, departures are part of the equation. A healthy squad is not just about numbers, it is about purpose. Players who are not seeing regular minutes can lose sharpness and confidence, which helps no one. Strategic loans can solve that problem, giving individuals the chance to develop while keeping the pathway clear for the future. Rangers have several young talents who need exposure at senior level, and the coming weeks could offer clarity on how those situations are managed. All of this unfolds against the backdrop of a demanding run of fixtures starting with a crucial trip away. These are the matches that test consistency, where focus must be maintained regardless of atmosphere or occasion. With rivals not in action midweek, every point gained carries extra weight. A positive result would not just add to the table, it would amplify belief and increase the pressure elsewhere. That kind of leverage is valuable, and Rangers know it. What stands out most at the moment is the change in mentality. Earlier in the season, setbacks felt heavier and confidence more fragile. Now, there is resilience, a sense that even when challenges arise, the group has the tools to respond. That belief has been earned, not gifted, and it is why the next phase is so important. Momentum, once built, demands commitment to keep it moving forward. The responsibility does not sit solely with those on the pitch. The club hierarchy now face a moment where alignment is crucial. Supporting the progress already made sends a powerful signal both to the squad and to the wider league. It says that ambition is being matched with action, that improvement is not being taken for granted. Failing to act, on the other hand, risks placing too much strain on a group that has already given plenty to get back into contention. As Rangers navigate this window, the balance between patience and decisiveness will define the weeks ahead. There's no need for panic, but there is a clear need for purpose. The foundations are in place, the belief has returned, and opportunities are opening up across the squad. How those opportunities are handled, who comes in, who moves on, and how the group is supported through a demanding schedule will shape the story that continues to unfold, with every match adding another layer to a season that is beginning to feel very much alive. The coming days feel like a crossroads for Rangers, not in a dramatic sense, but in the quiet way seasons are often decided. The work done so far has put the team back in a position where belief is justified, and that alone changes the atmosphere around the club. Training sessions carry more intensity, standards are higher, and there is a shared understanding that every small detail now matters. This is where consistency becomes everything, because momentum can disappear just as quickly as it arrives if focus slips. What has been most encouraging is the sense of togetherness within the squad. Players look willing to cover for one another, to make the extra run, to stay switched on, even when the game becomes scrappy. That kind of attitude is often the difference in tight title races, especially during the winter months when pitches are heavy and fixtures relentless. Rangers have shown they can handle that environment, but the challenge is doing it week after week without losing edge or energy. January is rarely about glamour. It is about efficiency, making sure the group is equipped to deal with what lies ahead. Even one addition, if chosen correctly, can raise standards and sharpen competition. It can also send a message to those already in the dressing room that their efforts are recognized and supported. That psychological boost can be just as important as the tactical impact of a new face. At the same time, managing expectations remains crucial. Improvement does not mean perfection, and there will be moments where performance dips or results grind rather than flow. How Rangers respond to those moments will reveal far more than any single standout win. The recent run has provided a template built on structure, intensity, and trust in the system. Sticking to that identity regardless of opponent or circumstance is the real test. As attention shifts from one match to the next, the broader picture remains clear. Rangers have put themselves back in the fight, and that is no small achievement given where things stood earlier in the season. The gap has closed, belief has returned, and the narrative has changed. Now, the focus is on turning that renewed confidence into something tangible, with every performance adding to the sense that this team is moving in the right direction. The next few weeks will demand clarity, courage, and smart decision-making at every level of the club. Nothing feels settled yet, and that uncertainty brings both pressure and opportunity. Rangers have earned the chance to push on, and how they choose to take it will continue to shape the journey ahead, one match at a time, with the season still wide open and the sense of possibility growing with each step forward. Supporters sense that the team is growing into something more reliable, and that belief feeds back into performances. The connection between stands and pitch feels stronger, built on effort and honesty. That does not mean expectations disappear, but there is a clearer understanding of the journey the team is on. Progress is being measured not just by results, but by how Rangers respond to challenges within games and across weeks. Ultimately, this period is about proving that the recent surge is part of a larger trend, not an isolated burst. Rangers have put themselves in a position where they can influence the direction of the season, but that influence must be earned repeatedly. The foundations are there, the structure is taking shape, and belief is returning. What remains is the hard work of sustaining it, match after match, decision after decision, as the season moves deeper into its most demanding phase. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Rangers are reportedly eyeing a major shake-up in their midfield, with whispers circulating that Lewis O'Brien could be the man to inject some serious intensity at the heart of Ibrox. Sources close to the club suggest that the management is keen to bring in a player who can dominate the central areas, press relentlessly, and carry the team forward with energy and precision, qualities that O'Brien has shown in abundance during his time elsewhere. The 24-year-old has earned a reputation as a tireless midfielder, capable of breaking up play, linking defense and attack, and making those surging runs that can unsettle even the most organized opponents. Rangers' coaching staff are said to be particularly impressed by his versatility. He's not just a defensive anchor, but someone who can drive the team up the pitch, create space, and support attacking movements. In a squad that has sometimes struggled to maintain control in the middle of the park against high-intensity opposition, O'Brien could be the exact kind of player to tip the balance. Talk around the Scottish Premiership has been buzzing with speculation about how this potential signing might alter Rangers' approach. Fans are imagining a midfield that presses higher, recovers possession quicker, and keeps the tempo relentless from first whistle to last. The idea is that O'Brien's presence could allow the likes of the club's creative outlets more freedom, safe in the knowledge that the engine room is humming with energy. Some pundits have already suggested that adding him could signal a more aggressive, pressing style for the Gers next season, a shift that could surprise rivals and excite supporters alike. Of course, nothing is confirmed yet. There are still questions about transfer fees, wage demands, and how quickly O'Brien could adapt to the pace of Scottish football, but the rumours alone have sparked a wave of excitement at Ibrox, with fans taking to social media to discuss what a midfield partnership built around his intensity might look like. Could Rangers finally find the steel and stamina they've been missing? If the speculation proves true, Lewis O'Brien might just be the player to transform their engine room, bringing a new level of bite, drive, and relentless energy to every match. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned